Oh, that is a tragedy. I don't have a hot cocoa emoji. Unfortunate. Yeah, I forgot to change the stream title. I mean, okay. At least this time it's in the correct category when I started and has like the right going live notification. Is the amount of times I have forgotten to like change my stream info. Uh-oh. Change my stream info between Saturday and I've been muted. Whoops. Professional streamer right here, everybody. Yeah, today is mostly planned to be a relatively chilled day. What is in these layers? I don't remember. Okay. You know, contrary to the music, mostly just a casual, relaxed stream. Probably not gonna talk terribly too much. It's how it is sometimes. Yeah, with the holidays going, like coming up really quickly, I've had a lot to do recently. Actually, I ended up with some rather annoying scheduling conflicts that led to me having to miss 2 streams. That's fine. Could be worse. The good news is, though, I have my presents for my friends for Christmas. Yeah, I ended up getting those on Sunday. So I'm prepared and ready to go. You know, some cool stuff like old CDs, some real funky looking glassware, some buttons and such. And then I ended up getting my friend a doll that I found in a thrift store because he has a collection of dolls, and so I wanted to, you know, add to that collection. But I saw 2 of them there, and they're 2 different dolls. But so there's the one that I ended up getting for him, and then there was a different like doll there that was like really badly broken. Like her entire head was broken off of her neck, like they were 2 separate pieces at this point. And her face itself had like 2 major cracks that like sort of caved the left half of her face in. And while I don't usually collect that kind of doll, the ones that I have are more fashion dolls and such. You know, your Monster High, your LOLOMGs, your I'd say Ever After High, but that doesn't exist anymore. What else is there? Right, like Rainbow High dolls, that kind of stuff. Those are the dolls I collect. Monster High half the time because I want to customize them myself, but Yeah, I click fashion dolls, not more like antique dolls, but I saw her and I simply had to take her home and fix her because I knew no one else would buy that doll because her head was broken off completely, like entirely separate piece. So I brought her home and I'm gonna see what I can do to repair her. I might like post a photo of her on my Instagram or something. I don't know. She's really pretty. Yeah, I have a couple other dolls like that that have just been like given to me. Like of that sort of more antique-esque style. And I appreciate them. They're the kind of doll that I enjoy having in my collection, but like I wouldn't seek them out kind of thing. Except for when I do. Hello, welcome in. Yeah, so I'm thinking I'll probably like patch her up, so show some progress shots on my Instagram sometime this week. I don't have time to repair her right now, because well, it would probably take, I don't know, a couple hours. I want to be like really careful and in depth with it, and make sure I do it right, so I don't want her to break again. Yeah, I don't intend to like rough house with her. She's, you know, an older doll. And most of mine are for display. You know, I'll move them around, like put them in different poses and stuff on my shelves, but yeah, I don't really play with them. Um, but I still want to make sure that she's like sturdy, because I do have a cat. So in case he, you know, nudges into her, I want to be sure that she isn't gonna fall apart at a glance. I mean, I don't let him up on my shelves. There are other high places in my room that he can climb up on, but, you know, just to be safe. Like maybe a closed eyes kind of look. I'm making him look way younger than he is. Like, I mean, he's not like an old man or anything, but I mean, he's not like 22 either. Oh my god, I was reading some like fan fiction recently, and the person read I found so many like questionably written ones. Like they were entertaining. But like the writing wasn't necessarily it. And in one of them, the person referred to a guy in his mid-30s as an old man. Like, yeah, he's an old man. He's in his mid-30s now. Like, dude, that's still so young. What are you talking about? Like, as a certified very young person, I'm just a little guy. 30's not old. Like, come on. Absolutely not. Not even close. I mean, like, a large amount of people live to, like, their 80s, 90s, even hundreds. Um, like, closer to 60s or 70s is when you're getting, like, closer to older. Like, that's old, not 30. 30 is not fucking old. Oh my god. The youths these days. I think it's because this is like curving in too much to like soften the angle a little bit and round off the jaw a little bit, I think. He also just this is just like kind of a younger-ish face shape. He's got those plump cheeks, a little bit of baby face. We can sort of straighten out those lines a bit. Yeah. And then, of course, you know, adding something like facial hair would help, but I still haven't decided if I want him to have facial hair. Maybe like a bit of scruff. He hasn't like shaved in a while. But like I don't really want to give him. No, he does not get a mustache. Absolutely not. Like I don't want to give him like proper facial hair. I don't think it fits him all that well. Hmm. Yeah, because I wanna do like a relatively simple sort of bust piece. Uh, of just like one of my characters. Bundled up with some cocoa. Hot cocoa is so delicious. Like, I fooled myself into thinking I didn't like it because most of the times that I've had hot cocoa have been at like a very specific like cocoa shop thing. I don't know. It's like one of those little mini huts that you find at like a vacation site. Because me and a friend, we every year take a little road trip to a place nearby. It's like a beach area, but I mean we do it in like February, you know, where it's cold and raining, so that A, less people are there, and B, it costs less money. Hot tip, if you want to go to a beach, and you want it, or like, I mean, going to the beach isn't costing money, but like staying at a beach place that's far away, so you intend to be at like a hotel that's like right next to the water, and you want it to be less expensive, just go in the middle of winter. No one will be there. It'll be way cheaper too. So you know you can be alone with the waves if you so desire. Um, so like there was a little there's like a little hot cocoa shack there. And the last few times that I've gotten hot chocolate, I think have been at that. And like it's okay. You know, they do a cute little thing where they put like a bunch of whipped cream and sprinkles on the top of the lid. At least they used to. They didn't last time. But I don't know, the hot cocoa itself, it was like kind of mid. Um so I think that fooled me into assuming I just didn't like hot cocoa. But then I've made some recently. And boy, it's delicious. Like a candy cane in there, so good. I'm gonna be 100%. I have no idea what is happening with this face right now. Like, we're struggling a little bit. I haven't warmed up today, which is probably why. Who could have guessed when you don't warm up, you don't draw as well. It's almost like the same as exercise. It's almost like drawing is a muscle that you have to practice and you have to train and stuff. Does he have pointed ears? No, he's a human. I really forgetting basic shit about my own characters. Anyways, sometimes you just gotta start over. Hot tip, erase your art. If it's not working, try again. You don't need to be precious with everything. Now, if the piece is already done, don't get rid of it then. At that point, it has erase your art immunity, but if you're in the middle of it and it's like, this isn't working, I need to do something different, fresh slate can often help. Not always the solution, but it can help. I feel like for a bust piece like this, it makes more sense to start from the head, which I don't normally do. This is a little strange for me. Okay, and this is like that, and then the arms. He is not that buff. I'm sorry, this man does not get out much. Not like he used to, at least. He used to be an adventurer, till he took an arrow to the knee. Yeah, but he's this character's a potion maker, for a local shop. And he did used to go out foraging for his own ingredients, and he does sometimes still, but he usually outsources it to local adventurers. You know, for the sake of supporting the adventurers, of course, and just for the sake of his own sanity and health. Because he'd prefer to spend the spoons he has on making his potions and on hobbies and stuff instead of venturing out into the forest. But he still goes every now and then when he has the energy, that kind of thing. This... Right, I don't want the arms sticking out forward. We want to pull them back because he's holding it closer to his chest, so it'd be more like this. We're not really going to see much of that arm, and then... Or this one, actually, because it'll be pulled back mostly. But we do get to see most of this arm because of the angle of the camera. I think even if I don't like line this or anything, I'm probably going to try and do like some rough color because I really want to get something posted to my socials. Just to like just because I want something on there, and I'm trying to like fix up the mess that is my Instagram right now, because it's an art Instagram and I never really post anything, which is especially not helpful because the thing is, so I want to do commissions eventually, but I'm not even close to being able to open them. Not because of my own time. I have like time to do commissions right now, and I'd be perfectly willing to. But when it comes to something like commissions, especially if you've never opened them before, you need that sort of basis of people who would be willing to commission you. It's hot business tip time, besties. At least in the world of art commissions, there is a level of trust that needs to be built between the client and the artist. You know, your clients are most often going to be people in your community, your followers, or they will, you know, spread the word to their community, and those people might see your art and want to commission it from you. Usually someone will get to know your art at least a little bit before they want to buy something from you. You know, there are people who will do like a tertiary glance of your art to see if they like your style and then go for a commission, but most often someone will stick around a little while before they intend to spend money on you. At least as far as I've found. You know, everything I say should be taken with a grain of salt. Nothing is ever the same for every artist. But so generally you want to build that foundation so that there are people who would want to commission your art. You know, you need to have a community in the first place. You need to have those people who are following you, who are interacting with your art, who like your art enough to want to, say, pay for it. Uh, but on top of that, I think a relatively important thing is a level of consistency, because I have never opened commissions before, so people don't have, like, they basically, they don't have those customer reviews to know, am I a reliable artist? Am I someone who's going to say that it'll be done in this time and it will very likely be done in this time? Of course, there's always a little bit of leniency. Life can always happen, and usually people are pretty understanding. I say usually because there's some questionable people out there, but, you know, most often people will be understanding if I don't know, there's like some kind of car crashes into your house and suddenly you can't draw because your tablet got destroyed. Uh, like, people aren't usually going to fault you for that. But generally, people want someone they can trust will actually do what they say they're going to do, and in a timely manner. And when you've never, like, opened commissions before, you don't have, like, the reputation of other people have commissioned you already, meaning those who are a little more wary have reason to trust you. So you need to build that trust in other ways, like, for example, posting consistently. Having consistency in when you post can, you know, give people more of a sense of comfort that, hey, this person plans to do this thing like this, and they've been keeping up with that. They've been keeping their word with that. And it doesn't have to be frequent necessarily. Like, you don't need to post every day to be able to build trust with your audience. You just need to go, I'm going to post this much, and then actually do it. And that will generally be pretty helpful in getting people to consider you more reliable and have a little more faith that if they were to commission you and you say it'll be done in this time frame, it'll probably be done in that time frame. And that's not to mention, of course, just posting consistently gets your art out there more, gets more people to know that you exist in the first place. Which will make them, you know, you'll be more likely to have people that are interested in buying your art because there are just more people there. You know, more people to know that you do art, to know what your art looks like, to know you're opening commissions, that kind of thing. These shoulders do not match up. And neither of them are correct. This should be more like this. This should be further out. Yeah. And then I think I need to move the head, like, slightly backwards. Just a bit. You know, just a smidge to sort of center it. Why did I move only the head and not this bit? Move that just slightly, because I only want to move that part a little bit, but I want to move the head a little less. Yeah, more like that. Okay, I think we're piecing this one together a little better. Yeah, but so that sort of consistency in, like, say, posting and just posting in general is really helpful for that kind of thing. Because I guarantee if I opened commissions right now, not a single person would commission me, because I haven't set up the environment of my social media to be beneficial to that cause. So as much as I would love to open commissions, because I want to save up money for a couple things. Now is just not really a good time with the way things are currently set up. So I'm trying to fix that, because, and I mean, I also just, I want people to see my art. I like my art, and I think other people would have a good time looking at it. I want to connect with other artists and such. I actually have a Tumblr too, which I really should post to more often. I'm honestly surprised I have like 2 followers on Tumblr, which, I mean, I'm less worried about Tumblr because it's the like and reblog site. So I post content, yes, but I also reblog other people's content. So people don't lose track of my existence. because I'm reblogging stuff. So they're like, oh, this person I follow reblog stuff. Neat. Uh, and it's a little less of a fully art account. Like my Instagram is art only. I'm being very particular with that one. I'm gonna probably throw in like the doll. But honestly, to an extent, I might genuinely, to buffer it, draw her and have that as the thumbnail, and then have the pictures of the doll just happen to be in the actual thing. Because I want to be careful with my Instagram, but like my Tumblr, I'm a little more relaxed about because that's just more fitting to the environment of that social media site. It's just more relaxed in general. It's a little more freeform. It's a little chaotic, kind of silly. That kind of thing. So it's a little easier to post there more because it's just a little less. It's less work, I guess. So it's just a bit easier. Which actually, I should post my sketches to Tumblr. Because I have things sorted by, like I have my art stuff sorted into a tag so that people can like, filter into that when they're on my account if they just want to see my art. But I want to, I think a good idea would be for me to make like a sketch tag specifically so that I can, confidently post the stuff that's like not even close to finished, but I still like, so I can get something onto my Tumblr. Is this what his hair looks like? I don't remember. I never really decided on a hairstyle for him. He's like the most half-baked but beloved character I have. Because I have all of these thoughts in my head about him, and none of it is on paper. Or screen, I guess. Yeah, like I have so many different scenes thought out for like different art pieces I could do. I have plenty of them sketched out too. Him with some of his friends, that kind of thing. But I haven't gotten around to any of it. Plight of an artist, truly. Oh my god. Especially like I have on YouTube, I have like a bunch of playlists, not on my actual YouTube channel, of course, on my personal channel. I have like a bunch of playlists that are just things I want to animate, like songs I want to animate. And there's so many, and I have done none of them. Where is my... Oh. Deselecting on Krita is questionable. At least the way I do it, I use the like draw select tool and just tap outside of the canvas, because if you just tap, it doesn't select anything, but if you tap on the canvas, it doesn't work. I don't know. This isn't right. Yeah, the pose is just kind of mid. I want it to be more dramatic. Like, curve a little more. I might add legs just because I have a problem. I can't not add the legs. It's so hard not to add the legs. I'll give him the worst posture in the world. Just like me. For real, for real. No, but I genuinely, like, I should stand with my spine like this. But I will, like, lean backwards and forwards at the same time, so my spine ends up more like this, so I'm technically up straight, but, like, still leaning. And then, of course, my entire body weight is slanted dramatically to one leg. So it just... I don't know how my body has survived me this far. It's honestly impressive. Anyways, so we cut it off like here, because I think maybe a little higher. Sort of mid-thigh is generally a pleasing location to cut off. I think usually, like, where you want to avoid cutting off is directly at the joints. Like with a headshot, you know, you cut it off right at the neck. With a bust, you know, you're not gonna, like, cut it off super short. You have a little bit of the arms and the chest in there, or like a half body. You generally don't cut it off at like the hips. It's more either the waist or a little below the legs. At least that's what I think looks visually pleasing to me personally, is just having a little bit like of the ends of the area showing instead of like cutting it off hard at like an odd edge. We need to move this to the side. And also, I think make it smaller. I think I made this too big. Yeah. Scaling, my worst enemy. Actually, let's shift scale that. Looks about right-ish. That should work. And then we'll move this leg out a little further to account for balance. Because while technically at the angle it's currently at, the character would be perfectly balanced, with the way it looks to the camera, it's a little bit off because you can't see the rest of the leg. So we push it a little bit further to the right to account for the center of mass and how that's connecting to the body. Now, a pose like this kind of makes me want to, like, have him sort of a little satire. You know, I'd put a hand on a hip, but with the camera angle, that is a little difficult. It doesn't quite look right on, like, the inward-facing hip. I feel like it's more natural to put like a hand on this one, since that's more like a shelf shape where you would actually rest your hand. Maybe that's just me though, I don't know. I'm not an expert on how people stand. The unfortunate part is that means we can't really see this arm at all. I'm excited for Yule this year because, so my family is pagan. We don't celebrate Christmas, we celebrate Yule, which is actually on the 21st. We're pushing it to Sunday though, for scheduling, because we can't get everyone here on a Thursday. Who could have guessed? But I don't think we're doing it this year, but we did talk about potentially doing Yule logs next year, which I've never actually done those before, but other members of my family had, and I was like, whoa, well, we should do that because that sounds really fun and I haven't done it before. So I think we may end up doing it next year, which will be really fun. I have made this way too dramatic. Pull it back a little bit. Just like a smidge. So I think that'll be fun. I mean, it's a relatively simple process, but you know, it's kind of like carving pumpkins with your siblings or something. You know, you put on a movie in the background, you rip out some pumpkin guts and stab knives into them. It's a bonding experience. But just with, you know, Yule logs instead, so winter holiday spirit. Maybe. See, I'm not sure if I want him to be like holding just a hot cocoa for himself. Or maybe he's like bringing one for, I don't know, a friend or something. Yeah, posing posing is something else, truly. Because like I can draw a character all day, but putting them in a pose that I'm actually happy with is less easy. Because I am a little bit of an overachiever when it comes to like character posing and like composition and stuff. Because I want it to be interesting. Like, you know, I'll sketch out random bland things, but if I intend to do more with a piece, I don't want it to just be character standing there, stare at camera. Which can be a good art piece. That can always look really good, if you do it right, but I like to add intrigue and pizzazz to my stuff. I wanna like try and avoid those like stiff poses. I want that sort of like actiony feel, that movement, or like anything dynamic, which is, this isn't super dynamic, this is pretty basic, but like, oh wait, this would look really cool in like a stained glass window style. I'm getting distracted. But like I generally try to push myself to go at least a little further whenever I'm you know, doing more than just like a basic sketch or like designing the way a character looks. Because when I'm doing character design specifically, all concepts of like composition or intriguing poses go out the window. Out of the window now. It needs to leave the window immediately. It is imperative that it is gone. Because if I focus on the pose or making the anatomy perfect or being like super picky about like the positioning in frame, I'm gonna get nowhere with the design because I'll be distracted. I won't actually be focusing on designing the character, and generally I'm not really gonna get anywhere. And even if I am designing, I'm gonna be like splitting that thought process between two things, being composition work and design work, when what I need to be doing is just focusing heavily on the design. Like, readability is still important because, you know, it's important that I'm able to understand what I'm drawing, and I'm able to like recognize what that might look like in a more finalized piece, for like, you know, spacing, proportions, accessorization, detail levels, that kind of stuff. But generally, getting it like really good, or like to the level of perfectionism I tend to have with my art, is not the best idea when I'm designing a character, because I don't want to be focusing on that when I'm trying to focus on like what outfit I'm giving them, how I'm styling their hair, any of that kind of stuff. Because it takes away from the actual character themselves to make them look too good sometimes when I'm designing, at least. I could just have him put his hand in his pocket. That's so boring, though. I want to draw his other hand anyways. This is a very undetailed hand pose. What can I do with his other hand? We can have him sort of... waving, I guess? Give him gay hand. I don't think he's super emotive with his hands, though. He could be holding a treat, mayhaps. Cake pop. He could just be holding like a drink for his friend. I could go back to that one, but then we have the dilemma of it's the same hand pose, but just from the other side, so it's even less interesting because you can see less of the hand. Well, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means I have to draw less hand. Yeah, but if I do that, then I want to, like, draw her receiving the mug. How much shorter than him is she? I think, like, half a head shorter. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, but like if I'm drawing him with another mug, I'm gonna want to draw the person who's receiving it. You know, get that nice character interaction. Where she's, you know, got her arms out about to grab the mug kind of thing. Which direction is she facing? That's the wrong hand. Whoops. Another thing with not having finalized character designs is even like traits that I have like fully settled on, I can't entirely remember them properly. So like I'll forget things. 'Cause you know, I don't have like a character sheet for them, so I can't like go back and check. So I'd have to like rifle through other drawings I have. Like with her specifically, I keep forgetting which one of her arms she has. Because she's missing one of her arms. I'm fairly certain it's the right one. But I keep forgetting which one it is because I spend so much time in between drawing her, where I don't draw her for a while, that by the time I get back to her, I'm like, I distinctly remember she's missing an arm. I don't remember which one it is. I haven't drawn her in too long. So I have to either go, like, hunt down older art of her, or just guess and hope I get it right. I think, genuinely, along the way, at one point, I got it wrong and then settled on that anyways. Like, I think it has swapped when I was not paying attention and haven't noticed. But, you know, could always change again, once I eventually get around to a proper, character sheet for these two. Yeah, because there's still things that I need to flesh out with both of them. Like the fact that they look ridiculously too young, and I'm not entirely sure how to fix it. I need to do studies on, like, drawing older characters. Because, well, again, something like mid-30s isn't old. It's older. I don't want them looking like they're 16 or something. And, I mean, yeah, people's perception of what certain ages look like is often wildly different from what people usually look like in that age bracket. And of course, you know, emphasis on the usually. It's never really a guarantee that someone of a certain age will look their age or what people expect them to look like. I mean, I had, oh God, way back in like middle school, I had multiple teachers. Like we had two science teachers who looked like twins. They were not. Both of them were in like their 40s and they looked 22. Like people often look a lot younger or older than you would expect from what their actual age is. And it's a bizarre experience because like all of us genuinely thought they were like 20 something, and then we would ask and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'm like 43." And it's like, "Huh? When? How? What are your secrets?" Yeah, so like pinpointing visual age on characters isn't the easiest thing, because I mean, it's not even really consistent in real life. How you gonna pull that off in a fantasy setting? But you know, we manage. Okay. The perspective on this is all sorts of screwed up, but that's fine. I'll figure it out. That's this, and then this would like barely be visible, and her arm would be going off this way. Like her elbow should be about here-ish, but it'll be a bit further back because her arm is pointed away from us as she's reaching towards the mug. And the handle would be like back here. So actually he wouldn't be holding it by the handle. He'd be holding the mug more like this so that he can hand it to her with the handle facing her, because I mean, I think people generally hand cups to someone that have handles with the handle towards them. Just makes sense. At least it makes sense to me. Yeah, so the handle would be like over here, wouldn't really be visible, but I can fudge with it a little bit so it's like kind of there. Okay, now his arm situation is looking kind of strange. Fix that up a bit. Yeah, I think the arm and then the hand would be like here-ish. You wouldn't really see the thumb. The pointer finger bent around. Inside of the mug handle, right? The complicated thing is, generally with objects, you know, you figure out where-ish you want things to be, and then you want to draw the object before you draw the hand, so that you can form the hand around the object, because our hands are a lot more flexible than the things we often grab onto are. Like, a ceramic mug isn't gonna move, the handle isn't gonna go all wiggly to compensate for where your hand is. Your hand will go all wiggly to compensate for where the mug is. But it's also kind of hard to place the object and then the hand second. I don't know. Characters holding things that are not just like a small stick or a metal rod is not the easiest to draw. I kind of want him, like, I want him to be holding it by the handle and not around the mug, which I think with the size of it, I'd want his pinky to be separate. To give the handle a length that isn't massive. Like, I don't want to make a giant mug is the thing. I could have it be that, like, both his pinky and his ring finger are attached in a different way. Yeah, have, like, his pointer, pointer and middle finger up here. I should go get, I have a mug right next to me. I can look at what this looks like. Okay. He's using his left hand. So... Oh. Interesting. Oh, that's weird. This is also a very difficult position to, like, pose myself for, because it's the back of the hand. And so I can't really see that very easily. But that's fine. We figure it out. Okay, so that is still descending order. Let's do it over here. Oh, I also don't have my undo key. Oh no. Okay, so we have the handle of the mug doing this. And then we have finger 1, 2, and 3. And then finger 4 sort of goes further forward. And then there's the thumb. So if we have that like this, it'd be more... be more like that, which does look interesting. Not sure I'm entirely sold though. Apparently mug handles are bigger than I thought. Yeah, they're like further away from the mug than I thought. Like there's a lot more distance horizontally. Oh, hey, welcome in, Akarenai. Just drawing some characters of mine that I'm hoping to get put up on my Instagram, because I haven't posted in forever. They're from a story. I have a potion master or a potion maker, and then the shopkeep that he often sells to. They're besties. They're very good friends. I'm currently struggling to figure out how mugs work. How are you doing today? Okay. Because if we do a similar thing, but just put the whole hand in there. Yeah, we can kind of fudge it a bit. We just stick this out further. That gives us more room for pulling back. Like that. You're good just lurking around Twitch? Yeah, I get that. I've been meaning to like lurk in people's chats while I'm streaming more, but my headphones are really finicky. So whenever I can't connect to Twitch, or like I can't watch Twitch on my headphones if I'm using them via Bluetooth, because they'll just randomly disconnect. So I haven't been able to like lurk on people while I'm streaming because I use my headphones as my microphone. Hopefully though, I'll be able to change that soon because I'm trying to get a boom arm so that I can use my actual mic which I use for gaming streams, but it's not really compatible with my art streams because like I have my desk, you know, monitor, and then chair. And so I'm sitting back so that I can actually see the screen and have my legs up to have my drawing tablet. And the only place I can put the mic is like up here, which is definitely too far to be heard. I need to be like up close and personal with that mic for it to hear me. So, you know, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. We'll see if I can get that working. I think this is it though. I think this looks good. So we add the mug, which would be kind of like here-ish, I think. Much further away than I expect it to be, apparently. And then, yeah, the handle's like not terribly far. The thing with like mugs is I feel like they're smaller than they are. Like looking at this mug I have in front of me, it's not like it's a relatively larger mug. I mean, I can fit my whole hand in the handle, which you can't always do. But at the same time, like I look at this thing and I expect it to be kind of small, but it's like actually massive. I can fit my hand around like half of it, which is shockingly large. Yeah, it's a, I think it's a Nightmare Before Christmas mug. It's the Sally's Deadly Nightshade kind of thing going on. It's really pretty. I've currently commandeered it as my hot cocoa mug. Just because it's like the biggest one, that we have that is, microwavable. And while we do have a kettle, so I would be able to, like, warm up hot water, I prefer to use, I want to move this slightly. I prefer to use warm milk for my hot cocoa. I feel like it makes it richer. I don't know, maybe that's just me though. Let's maybe put this like... Yeah, that feels about right. I mean, it's a bit of a tangent though. But also, who is paying attention? Who really cares? Oh, boo-hoo, your hot cocoa mug has a tiny tangent on it. It'll be fine. I'm sure the people will survive. This shouldn't be further out than that, though. Okay. Then we take this and we do this incredible thing that I learned called using the shift key so that it stays proportional. And then we can size this up so that the hand is the right size, and oh my god, that mug is too big. Okay, maybe I made it a little large. Hold on. I can fix this, Let's adjust the hand size so that it looks a little bigger. I think I might have made the hand a bit small, honestly. Because this would actually curve outward, the positioning, and this wouldn't pull in quite as much as it has. We take this. I did definitely make the thumb too small as well, now that I'm thinking about it. Just widen that one a little. Said a little, not a lot. Okay, well, I like the original shape, so instead we just grab that and move it upward. Okay, and finish off the edges. And the fun part about digital art is that I can sort of half erase things. You know, not put my full effort into getting rid of all of it, and then use that as like guidelines, basically. Which allows me to position things the way that I want them to be without having to fight them. Or like start from scratch, and then I'm able to like properly erase it later without worrying about getting rid of the work I just put in. What is the perspective on this? Because I think I've done the hand perspective so that it's like from slightly above, but the mug is like from directly on. I mean, I can always do that. Yeah, but I've also had it so the hand is like facing this way. Which, well, I mean, I guess you could curl his hand around. That's not terribly difficult. Let's see what it looks like. Forgot I need to resize it. So if we put this like here. Okay, honestly, I think I might just have to make the mug smaller in general, which is okay. You know, nothing wrong with a slightly small. Well, okay, so this is the right hand size. It feels a little small to me, but I know that it is. I see. I see a slight dilemma there. The thing that I'm resizing doesn't want to stay in the right place because of the snapping that Krita has for some bizarre reason. Yeah, like I don't really want his hand to be curling back in on himself, because that just looks kind of uncomfortable. Like generally I feel like if you're holding a mug, it's sort of diagonalish. It's not like curled fully back into you. Okay, I think we put this back up here and we copy paste it, because then we can edit this one without losing the first one. Because I do like it. I don't know, might use it later. But it's not gonna work for my purposes. So I need to turn this this way. How do I pull that off? Okay, so hand structure, we want the handle more like over this way. Means the fingers will be like here. We might actually see some of the other part of the fingers. Okay, something like this. Because your hand does kind of get like crammed in there when you're holding the mug that's like slightly too small. And then it'll pull over that, and then the thumb will be like here-ish. I have no idea if this makes any sense visually right now. I imagine not. but it should make some sense when we remove that. It's a little better. Yeah, because we're just kind of futzing with this to see if we can get it to work. Erase all of that. Just get like the base structure in there. You know, that those external lines, see if they look right. Yeah, mostly. Definitely a thinner brush than I should be using, but and then the fun part about sketches is that I can kind of just put lines places and it covers things slightly, which makes them look a little better. Yeah, like I'd wager at least like 40% of art is lying and deceit. Because you know, you're trying to trick the human brain into seeing, you know, something out of a bunch of random lines and colors. Let's say there's a little bit of magic trickery in there to get it to work. And then yeah, that mug would be like here-ish. We'd probably pull that up a bit. Erase the excess. And half of it is covered by the mug itself, which in this case is actually a rather good thing because it means that I don't have to worry as much about it looking good as long as the point comes across. I have succeeded. Because people aren't going to look at the hand as much if it's, you know, behind a mug. You can't even really see as much of it, which makes it easier to just futz with and make it look mostly good. And then, of course, you know, my classic trick of sectioning things off to indicate where things are. Because, you know, sometimes I'll draw, like, arms that are, like, completely separated. Like, I'll just have a full-on line here. Almost like a doll. Just because I think it looks stylistically interesting. But, you know, sometimes I can use that stylistic choice to my advantage and, you know, do things like this that will indicate where separations are. Because I only really need the one, because then that shows where it is for the rest of them without actually filling it in. You know, it indicates where the separations are, which makes it easier for other people to process what's going on in the image, so I don't have to work as hard. You know, it's kind of like using shadows, I guess, but just with strategically placed pointless lines. And I'm fairly certain the only reason it ever works in my style is just because I've done it for a while and I do it in other places too. Because this certainly wouldn't go quite as smoothly in some other styles that I have. You know, there's a time and a time and a place for the doll joints. Yeah, I think this will work. I do want to make the mug a little thinner though, just a little smaller in general to try my best to account for the hand size proportion, because I really don't want this mug to be absolutely massive. It's apparently an issue I've had with mugs for a while, because I mean it even showed up on like a whiteboard drawing I did, because someone on Tumblr did like a group project whiteboard. I think it was the second one they had made. And I ended up hopping in there to draw a couple things here and there. And one of the things I drew was another OC of mine, from the same story. Yeah, from the same story. He's actually one of the mages, which I'm still not decided on if that's what I'll call them, but they're people who use magic, which is different from potions. But essentially his like magic that he's able to control is things like plants, most often vines and flowers, but you know, plants in general. Mainly because I started his like design from a slightly strange place. Like my character and world concepts start very backwards. Like I don't start big and then go small. I start absolutely tiny and then go massive and then start looking at details again. So like his entire character concepting started off from someone who has hair that mostly normal hair, but there's like flowers that grow in it that will like adjust depending on their emotions. So, you know, they'll like bloom or wilt, or a different kind of flower might show up, that kind of thing. And then I adjusted it from there. And so he has like little vine strands that are in his hair. And, you know, flowers can grow from them, as can thorns, leaves and such. And, you know, they'll bloom or wilt depending on his emotional state. It's something that he's generally learned to control if he needs to, but he doesn't bother most often. Because, I mean, it's more akin to, like, facial expressions. So it's the kind of thing that he can, you know, he can steel himself if he wants to, and, you know, have the flowers not be impacted by his emotional state. But he can also just let it happen, just like, you know, if you're happy, you end up smiling, or if you're angry, you look pissed, that kind of thing. So, which one is this? This one. We don't need this. Remove layer, because it's still on here. But so I found that to be like an interesting character concept, and it would also work really well in things like animations, because oh boy, can't wait to put that character in a situation, smiley face. I've done it again. I put it in a weird perspective. It's from above. It should be from below. You know what? No, fuck it. We're moving his hand down. It won't be up here. It'll be down here. Because I'm not doing this a third time. Absolutely not. I'll change his arm to move with his hand. Is that load down enough? Should be, but I do need to move the hand slightly. Just like over a bit. And down a tiny bit. Krita, please. Krita, I'm begging you, stop snapping. Why does it have this feature? I mean, I'm sure it's useful somewhere, but I don't know how to turn it off. Hold on. Move current layer, move content, unit position, show coordinates on canvas. What? I can't stop it from snapping? Oh, that's cruel. I'm sure a way exists somewhere, but I don't know where it is. Another tangent. That's one I can fix, though. Right, but so he has like that sort of flower concept in his hair, and I went from there with his character design and fleshed him out more afterwards, and I'm actually quite fond of him. Yeah, but I drew that character in a whiteboard because someone started like a little cozy guy corner, and they were like, draw your own cozy little guy, and it was a bunch of little guys being cozy. So I drew him on like some big cushy looking pillows, with some nondescript warm drink, probably hot cocoa, maybe coffee. I don't know. He looked a little too cozy for coffee though. But the mug I drew was absolutely massive. It was huge. Because I mean, you can't really scale things in a whiteboard. You can draw and erase and undo, and that's about it. I'm not sure you can even... I don't think you can even select and move things, honestly. But... I don't know, I was very, very fond of that drawing. I ended up, like, trying to continue it, but that was on my phone, on Android, on mobile. Drawing on mobile. So I haven't finished that one yet, and I probably won't unless I port it over to my computer, because the thing is, when I started drawing on mobile, it was like, I should merge these. It was, after I hadn't drawn digitally, like, at all for maybe a couple months to a year or so. Just because, like, the laptop that I was originally using was, to put it lightly, it was trash. Like, it was not good. It didn't really work at all. So I, like, couldn't draw on it for a while because it was just so non-functional. So I ended up switching entirely to traditional for a bit. And eventually, you know, I moved back to doing digital stuff every now and then, because I got Metabank Paint for mobile. And started drawing on that, but it had been so long since I had drawn digitally that I didn't really have those standards anymore, I guess. I didn't really remember what it felt like, you know? So mobile worked fine for me because it, you know, I mean, it was all I had. And I started off with an absolutely hilarious contraption I made so that I could have like a stylus on mobile instead of using my finger. It was made out of an empty pen casing, a Q-tip, tinfoil, tape, and then I would dip the Q-tip in water and then like blot it off so that it was only damp, and then I would use that, and it worked. But eventually, you know, I got a proper stylus and such. But the moment I got my new PC, like I built my PC, I had it all done, and I drew on it again because it had been forever since I'd drawn on like Krita and with my drawing tablet. And so, you know, I wanted to try it out. I did it once and immediately was reminded in full force of how much genuinely nicer it feels to draw on like computer than it does on mobile. And there's definitely a stark difference between mobile and like tablets as well, because I think the most important thing is just having pen pressure and having a slightly larger workspace, because even tablets have like a big enough workspace where you can actually see what you're doing. But a phone, while it's a great size for what a phone does, it's very small because you need to have your UI and all of your other stuff as well as the actual canvas, and that ends up being tiny. You know, you can zoom in on it, but then only so much of it is ever visible. You only have so much workspace. And I can draw pretty small. I generally draw relatively small in a canvas, but I can only go so far. I can only work with so small of an area. And that combined with like metabang for mobile being kind of weird. Like I'm sure metabang for like computer is better, but mobile metabang is definitely a strange experience. And not in the best way. Combined with not having pen pressure, I can't bring myself to draw on my phone anymore. I can't do it. It's so bad. Because like I genuinely had a lot of fun, and one of the pieces I am most proud of I made on my phone. Honestly, the two pieces I've drawn that I am most proud of were just because they were such a struggle to do. One of them was some like Sandersides fan art, I think, from a year or two back. Actually, more than that, like a couple years ago, because I made it on my first ever drawing tablet, which I don't remember the brand, but I ended up getting it at like some kind of tech shop, but I feel like it was a secondhand kind of thing. I don't know. It felt more like it was like an off-stock shop, like the kind of store that will sell like the things a company couldn't sell themselves. Like they had like too much excess. And so I ended up getting this thing for like $100. It said on the I remember distinctly on the like shelf it said 80. At the register it said like 90 something. And then because of tax it ended up being like 100 something. So like 90 to 100, fine, but on the shelf it said 80 and that was not what the price was. So that was a little annoying, more expensive than expected. And then it worked for a while, but it kind of started having weird problems not terribly too long in, and eventually it got to the point where it just stopped working. If I wanted to draw, I had to unplug it and replug it in every like 5 seconds to a minute. And it got to that point in the middle of a drawing. Like I had gotten through the sketch and I was doing things like line art and coloring and shit, and it started doing that. And so I was like, well, God, this sucks. I'm in hell. But I kept going. I kept pushing. I did unplug and replug it, like, I think over 100 times. But eventually, I finished the majority of the piece, and I ended up ordering online. Like, I got so sick of it, and I started, like, Googling online for, like, good tablet brands, and, like, budget stuff, and you know, I did my researching, and eventually I stumbled upon the existence of XP Pen. They're a drawing tablet company that's not like major, I don't think. But I mean, you know, they've got a decent amount of stuff in there. They've got good reviews, people who like them, and so I was like, okay, I'll give them a shot, and I did, and I bought the Star 03, which was $50. It was half the price of that weird knockoff question mark tablet that I got at some random ass store, and it's so nice. I know I'm biased because I experienced this after a genuinely paperweight of a tablet. But like it's simplistic and streamlined and does exactly what I want it to do. Like it has 8 buttons on it, which is more than I use. I use like 2 of the buttons, but I could certainly use more and probably should actually. Like, it's got 8 buttons. It's snappy, it's responsive, it's not complicated, which I think helps in making it more effective because, generally with objects, the more moving parts, the more complex it is, the more different ways it's capable of going wrong, which just makes it statistically more likely that one of those many things will go wrong. The less things there are, the less chance. This bad boy has served me very well, and apparently is still getting driver updates. Cause I literally had to restart a stream. I think it was Tuesday last week. Yeah, it was like Tuesday last week. I had to restart a stream because my tablet wasn't working. Like it wasn't doing like pen pressure, was being really weird. It was acting more like it was just a mouse. It wasn't functioning right. And so I did a little Googling, and then I go to their website, and I'm like, well, is there like a new driver or something? And I look, and literally that exact day, it was December 12th, there was a new driver that was put out on December 12th, and there was another one that was done back in like October. So apparently this like 8-year-old tablet is still getting driver updates, which I think is fucking hilarious. Like I really like my tablet. I think it works really well for what I want it to do. But so I ended up getting that in like the last stretch of the drawing. Like I had already done I'd already done all of the line art, I think, at least most of it. I think I hadn't finished the shoe. No, I did finish the shoes. I distinctly remember suffering through them because they had way too many lines and my tablet would cut off mid-line. It was so annoying. Like I had finished the shoes and most of the line art and stuff, and I was doing like flats, and my tablet came in. And so I tried it out and it was incredible, and I finished that piece with a functional tablet. But I did 90% of that piece with a absolute piece of garbage. So I'm really proud of myself because it was very successful. Like I think I did a good job working with what I had, and I like how it looks. I probably am gonna actually like redraw it at some point because I mean it's not great. I was still relatively new to drawing digitally at that point, so I didn't really know what I was doing. So it's not like it's a masterpiece or anything. I need to pull these two further apart. Hold on. Like, it's not Picasso or anything. I don't think it looks particularly great if I am to be like, if I'm gonna be harsh about it, I don't think it looks perfect. There's a lot I would do differently now. But with the circumstances I was in, I'm really proud of that piece because I pulled through and succeeded anyways. And then the other piece that I'm really proud of was a different kind of difficult circumstances. It was entirely self-induced because it was I believe it was a drawing for last year's art fight. It's the only drawing I did for art fight. I've tried to join art fight several times and I always just like don't have the time, so I'll join a team and then I'll join a team and I'll never actually post anything, which is why I never have any characters up on my account because I don't think it's fair for me to post characters and not actually draw anything for art fight. So I generally I have not allowed myself to keep my character refs up until I have drawn one piece. So I speedran that piece in the least healthy way possible. Because I ended up spending 18 hours on it. And I think I actually like recorded it in Metabank, but I spent 18 hours on it straight. I did not take breaks. Like, I'd get up to go use the bathroom or get food or like get some water occasionally. But other than that, I just drew for like 2 days I took a technical break of sleeping for 9 hours right in the middle, and then I woke up, I got a snack, and I went right back to drawing for the rest of the time. And then I eventually finished it, you know, like 3 times because I had to fiddle with it every now and then. I'd be like, I'm done, and then I'd like, you know, make the PNG, and then I'd look at it and go, no, I'm not. But like I eventually got it done. I was like, I'm not gonna make a background. I ended up making a background. And in total it was 18 hours of draw time. And I'm very proud of it. It looks really nice. But that was a terrible idea. That was genuinely the worst way I could have gone about it. So like I'm proud of it because it looks good and because I put blood, sweat, and tears into it, but I'm never doing that again. This hand looks wrong on so many different ways. The cup is too far into the thumb, the hand is turned at a weird angle. Okay. So, mug. Palm. Thumb. Rest of hand. Something like that. Oh, where was I going with this? Yeah, the thing with my ADHD is I'll go off on tangents, and usually I keep a mental note of where the tangent started so I can go back to what I was saying originally. Sometimes I don't do that right though, and I forget what the original topic was. I do know I started this by talking about commissions. Yeah, but like speaking of tablets, that's one of the 2 things I'm thinking of saving up on, because once I feel comfortable enough with where I've gotten my socials to open commissions and see if it works, I'm gonna try and save up for 2 things. Which I mean, it'll take a while. Obviously, they're both relatively expensive. But I want to get a computer tablet. You know, like your iPads, your Samsung tabs, that kind of thing. Because I want to be able to draw on the go on literally anything other than my mobile phone. Because again, pen pressure, I can't do it anymore, besties. I can't bring myself to suffer like that any longer. So I want to save up for one of those, and then the other thing that I want to try and save up for is a DSLR camera, because I've been wanting to get into photography for like ages, and you know, like I do some mobile phone photography here and there. I generally do it every time I take a trip, that like mid-February beach trip with my friend. Like, you know, I take pictures there every time. One of those photos actually used to be my phone background because I actually really liked it. I still like it. I think it looks pretty cool. But, you know, it was done with like I think a Samsung Galaxy S8 camera. Not so great on that thing. Same with my current phone, the like S10 Plus. It's not got the best. What is happening here? Oh my god, mugs are my worst enemy. Anyways, it doesn't have the best camera on it, and I don't want to buy like a super expensive phone just for the camera, because I know that once I have it long enough, it's gonna be treated slightly less gently. Like, whenever I get a new phone, I treat it like it is made of the most fragile glass you've ever seen. But slowly over time, I get more used to it. I'm more familiar with, like, holding it in my hand. I've gotten used to the shape, that kind of thing. So I'm not as worried about dropping it. I'm a little less careful, you know, I'll toss it onto my bed instead of gently placing it down. That kind of thing. And I mean, if I'm getting a super expensive phone for the sake of a camera, I don't want to do that. And besides, I want to feel fancy too. And I want to have storage on my phone because I'm really bad at moving photos from my phone to my PC. But I feel like I'd have a much easier time doing it with my camera, or like with a proper camera, just because it'd be more on my mind. Like it's less of a, oh, I take the picture with my phone and then out of sight, out of mind. I'm out of my camera app, so I'm not thinking about what's in my gallery. But with my camera, it's less things that it does. It just take picture and video, so I'm thinking about its storage relatively consistently because I want to make sure that I have the storage for it. Or to, you know, take more photos and videos. So I'll have an easier time making sure I actually have storage. I can fit more things on my phone. God. Etc., etc., you know, that kind of thing. I don't know how to hand this to her. Sorry, this has been fun, but I have to step away. I'll see you later. Oh, no worries. Thank you for hanging around. Whether you come back or not, I hope you have a wonderful evening, day, noon, night, whatever time it may be. I hate mugs. I don't know what to do with this hand. How do I do this? Because I don't want him to be holding it at the handle again. I could have, okay, wait, I could have her already grabbed it, and then he's like letting go, like mid-action letting go. I can do that. That might work. We might have a solution, folks. Okay, so we have the mug, which will not really... will cover pretty much her entire hand, is the plan. So we do this. Okay, and I'll fix up the shape of this later. Yeah, but so I want to like save up for a DSLR camera because I'm thinking, like I'm planning on getting like a secondhand one-ish, like buying it's not refurbished, but like from some store that will sell like ones that people have sent in that they, you know, don't use anymore. Because I've seen a couple that I'm interested in that are like a quality level that I would be happy with. But you know, I don't quite have the money for it yet. So I'm gonna have to wait. But I've got a camera in mind and two lenses in mind that I want to end up getting. And then the tablet, which I'm thinking, what was I planning? I think the Tab 8. I've heard good things about it, and I generally with my technology with things like phones and stuff, and I mean even with my PC, I prefer to stay like slightly behind, just because, you know, it's things that are still generally like good. They'll still do what I need them to. I don't need top of the line stuff. So they'll still be good, but they'll be like a lot cheaper than you know, the most recent tech, and they'll be cheaper than when they originally came out because I'm waiting until they're considered an older model. So just staying slightly behind gives me still good stuff, but at a more reasonable cost metric for what I'm willing to spend. And then, of course, you know, buying like refurbished stuff also helps with that. And I'd be getting like an an older model camera, also getting it secondhand. So it's, definitely going to be cheaper, which is very important for something like a camera because boy, are those expensive. And their lenses too. Oh God, lots of money. Which is why I want to save up for it because it costs a lot. I could have her. Do I want to struggle through this process again? Did that just... No, there's no way that just worked first try. I can't fucking size an eraser for my life, apparently. No, it looks off, right? Yeah, it does look off. I didn't get it first try. I'd be so mad if I got that first try. Like, it'd be helpful, but... I struggle through the entirety of this guy's hand, end up giving up, and then get the exact thing I was looking for first try with hers. Yeah, no, that looks really weird. Okay, yeah, so we erase the inside. Bammo shablamo, you can't really see your hand. Incredible, I've succeeded. So we move this down here. And it's actually the right size already, I think. Oh, that's convenient. That's actually really convenient. Okay. Cool. I mean, I'm not complaining. Makes my job easier. My eraser is too small. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember exactly what model of camera and what lenses I was thinking on. I forget what they're called. Actually, I think it's my first Google tabs currently. Oh my god, I have 91 tabs open. That's not good. Right, it was the Canon EOS Rebel, and then 50mm f1.8, and then a 10 to 18mm. Cause I'm trying to get like beginner level and beginner priced stuff, relative. Things that are a little cheaper. Because I'm not here to try and get like super expensive stuff, because while I am committed to the hobby, I know there will definitely be a difference between doing photography with a camera and doing it with a phone. And I think especially with something that can be as expensive as photography, it's good to start on the lower end just to really get a feel for it and how you work within it, and if you actually want to like properly stick with the hobby, because you can be super invested in something in theory and then when you actually go to do it be like, oh, this is not as interesting to me as I thought it was. So it's less money down the hole in general, and you can always resell things, of course, but playing around with less money means you're less likely to lose as much if you end up not being interested. Thankfully, so far, I have yet to start a hobby that I did not love. I got into crochet, and then turns out one of my family members knits, and so she ended up getting me into knitting. Because, I mean, they're so close to each other. I mean, it's worth a shot. I have the yarn already. I just need some needles. We went to a store. We left the store with more than just needles. And then, bam, I've been a knitter ever since. And I mean, of course, there's art, which I've been doing my entire life. Don't know when that started or who got me into it, but it's a part of me now. It's a solid part of who I am as a person. I don't know who I'd be without art, honestly. I forgot to give her her tits. Oops. This woman has titties. I forgot. Oh no. That's not right. That anatomy. Okay. And then her shirt and her jacket would flatten them slightly because of fabric tension. So on the shirt and jacket, it'd look more like this. A little bigger than that. What does a coat look like again? Do I have it in this one? Do I have it in this one? I thought, because these are the sceneries, right? I thought I drew her. Oh, I did. It's here. Okay. I gave no detail to that jacket. Okay. Well, I wanted it to be different from his, so I think I give her a belt. Right, she has close to the arm sleeves, a belt, I think, and she's wearing gloves. She's got a fluffy neckline. I think I might change that to a straight neckline, honestly, to fit with the rest of the jacket's endings. Although honestly, I'm not entirely sure I want to give her a jacket right now. Because I mean, they're like inside. I'll give her a sweater. They're both wearing sweaters. I think that's fair. No, do I want to give her like a higher cropped sweater? I don't know. Yeah, I don't normally like I don't draw my female characters in much feminine clothing often. Because I could also give her something like this, which would also look good and look very comfortable. I like both. Oh dear. I feel like the longer one looks warmer though, which feels more fitting to how she prioritizes things. Like she's not gonna go around and she's more about, oh, what's the word? Functionality. Like I mean she likes fashion. She wants to look good. I mean who doesn't? But she's more concerned with her clothing being functional, especially because she's like a shopkeep and she has other like hands-on kinds of hobbies and such, so whatever she can do to make her clothing comfortable and work for her, she'll do it. So I feel like she'd wear a longer sweater just because it'd be more effective at keeping her warm relative to, you know, a shorter cropped sweater. Okay, which means this is like that. And we can erase these. We have our lines. We don't need the guidelines anymore. Okay. Okay. And then because he has like a sort of turtleneck sweater neckline, I will give her a flatter one. Because I wanna try and not give them the exact same outfit, have a little variety in there. You know, simple small detail adjustments can do quite a bit to make a character distinct in a frame. You know, even something as small as just making her sweater be slightly different shaped with you know, make it look like a slightly thinner, thicker material. Give her a different like neckline type, that kind of thing. It all works together towards making a character seem more of their own. Okay, that's her shoulder's back here, so it'd be like this. Oh god, this is like the worst perspective ever. It's trying to get like that back shoulder to look right. I need to pull this more outward. I think this works. I think we found it. I think I've solved the problem. Ish, kind of, a little bit. Mostly. Mostly not. It's fine. It looks good enough, that's what matters. So then I want him sort of letting go of the mug. Yeah, something like this. And then we'll put his hand like slightly behind it. So that it has a sort of 3D effect. Like that. Subtle, doesn't have to be a lot. And then, well, I need to move this out of the way. Could just put that back above that. And we move him back into position. Now comes the fun part of slightly adjusting things here and there, just a little bit, so that they do what I want them to. Did I even make his hand the right size? I feel like it might be too small. It's too small. It's also at a very strange perspective. I think that's good enough. Doesn't need to be perfect. Just needs to work. Mostly. Okay. Honestly, art-wise, I have so many different ideas and I just haven't like committed to any of them, is the thing. Like I got like halfway through starting some fan art for a streamer I watch because he was playing Ocarina of Time and had a silly funny moment with one of the Poes sisters, where he was like, "Oh no, she's crying. I'm sorry, Meg," and then threw a Deku Nut at her, which I thought was very comedic. I got like halfway through it and then haven't gone back to it. Or like a video game I played recently, Killer Frequency, really fun. I would recommend very much, highly recommend. It's so good. If you like puzzle games, or I guess not puzzle games, but like mystery solving games, I feel like this is a fun one. It's not super complex, but it's like an in the moment kind of thing, and it's kind of spooky. It's a little bit spooky scary. By the end of it, I had mostly gotten used to leaving the like radio station booth, because you're a radio host who's trying to stop serial killer, basically. Like I had gotten used to leaving the radio booth, but it was still ever so slightly nerve-wracking every time, because, well, you know, it like gets real quiet out there and then the game starts playing eerie music and it's like, no, why are you doing that? I want to go back to my safe zone in the radio booth. And then of course there's the end, which has a silly, funny twist moment, which, you know, turns some things against you. I won't spoil too much, but I don't know, I thought it was really fun. And there were like several really tense moments where I genuinely thought I had like messed up and gotten one of the characters killed, and then it, like, you know, turns out, oh, success. But like the timing for the achievements too, because it'll be like that tense silence and then achievement unlocked, character survived the whistling man, and it's so cruel. Just like, you fucker, you really waited that long to give me the achievement. But it's good timing, and it worked well for what it did, and I don't know, I like it. But there was a funny line in there about the character you play being like someone's guardian angel, and then Peggy, your coworker, is like, "Ooh, guardian angel, that's a good look on you. A white wing and a halo number," and then your character's like, "All right, everybody, calm down." So I'm sure someone else has maybe already done it. I don't know how popular Killer Frequency is, but I was immediately ensnared with the desire to draw Forrest Nash as in a white wing and a little halo number, because I think it'd be funny. I don't know. I like the player character's vibe. He's silly. He's silly in a I'm bad at peopling and making friends kind of way. And I appreciate that about him. Um I don't know. I just haven't gotten around to any of it. I'm hoping that with this like recent real life break I've been able to take from a lot of my workload, it'll give me enough energy to do more stuff that I want to do, like art wise and such. Because I just haven't been able to get around to any of it because I've been so busy, and then that busyness makes me tired, and I only have so many spoons. Uh, I can't spend all of them on things like drawing, and I want to hang out with my friends. So a lot of the energy that I have for like stuff for me ends up being spent like hanging out with friends or playing games with friends online, that kind of thing. Uh, because I don't want to miss out. Um, I think I can move the line of this slightly back. Yeah, like that. I think that looks good. I think that works. I think that works. Um, so fingers crossed that as scheduling changes, as time moves forward, I'll have more time for things that I want to do, which leads to more time for things like streams and my social media and stuff, because I mostly put up the things that I want to put up, which is the things I want to do. Because I want to make art a career. I do, but I know it'll be a while before I can even consider making any kind of money from it, and I may never get to a point where I can subsist off of just my art, and that's okay. But, for right now, it's just hobby. Uh, and I'm here to have fun, and I don't think there's any good reason to make art if you don't enjoy it, unless again you are directly being paid by someone. But like if I'm just posting something to social media, I'm not gonna draw a thing I don't enjoy to post to social media. I'm going to draw something I do like, uh, with, caveats, of course. I'll like what I put on social media isn't just everything that I enjoy drawing. I still draw for just me sometimes, and of course, it's good to keep a little bit of consistency, uh, just to have people coming back. The kind of thing where like you draw fan art to draw people in. They come for the fan art, they stick around for the OCs, kind of thing. Uh, but like generally, I mostly am doing things that I at least enjoy somewhat if I'm gonna show them off to people, because I think people would be able to tell, honestly. Like, if I didn't have my heart in something and still managed to draw it in the first place somehow, I don't think it'd be very easy to hide the fact that when I was making it, I was not having fun, because if I'm not having fun, I'm not going to put as much effort into it. I'm not going to go as gung-ho with making sure that the anatomy is great and the characters look dynamic and interesting, and everything looks pretty and shit. It's a lot harder to do that when you aren't enjoying it. I'm very glad that I chose to do this specifically on stream instead of trying to convince myself I could do it off stream, though, because these mugs would have killed me. I would have given up. I would have given up and messaged my friends on Discord and been like, wanna play Minecraft? But I cannot, because I am streaming. And my current category is art, and I don't intend to switch categories midstream. So instead, I fight. I fight to get through, and I win the fight against these mugs. These mugs can't win. They can't beat me. I'm too good at this game. And then bam, I've drawn 2 mugs with hands holding onto them, and they look kind of good. And I've put his arm at a very strange distance. That's not right. Hold on. And also a very strange angle, too. Let's put him like here. I've messed up their height, but they're at weird perspectives anyways, so it doesn't really matter. Okay. I think this being completely straight isn't helping much with the perspective either. Although his hand is turned, so I'm not... I think it looks okay, honestly. That's all that really matters. Yeah, that works. Yeah, that works. That works. Got his big puffy sleeves. He looks real cozy. That's what I'm going for. I want the coziest little guy you ever did see. Well, no, okay. I don't think I can ever do that because going back to that whiteboard on Tumblr, one person drew Gaster with a little mug in a little blanket, and I don't think anything can get cozier looking than that. It was so cute. I'm not sure if they posted it anywhere. I know someone else on, I think the person who made the Cozy Guy Corner, who like started it, did like a little show through where they took screenshots of it and then they like tagged the people who had put their names down, and they were like, and I'll link to this person if they ever like put their name. I don't remember if the Gaster person tagged themselves or not, but they actually ended up showing off my one, which was really sweet. Yeah, they said they really liked it, which was so nice. I was very proud of it too, so. The Cozy Guy Corner was very fun. I should flip this. I know that their faces are gonna look weird, but that's something I can work with. Okay, his hands look fine. The mug, this hand still looks good. Magical, incredible, I've succeeded. Their bodies look mostly fine. Her elbow is too short. Yeah, I put her elbow way too short, so I need to fix that. Which I can do relatively easily. And then his face is mostly fine. It could use a bit of adjustment, but I mean, hers definitely needs to be adjusted. It's very flat, and like skewed, which I was expecting. I could see that without flipping it. Not a terrible flip test. That was a pretty successful flip, if I do say so myself. Okay. These are all relatively quick fixes, I think. It is 7:40 though. Now I did start a little late, but it is 7:40. So I'm thinking I'll probably cut it here. Yeah, I think I might cut it here. Ooh, Ocarina Sheaf is on. I could technically raid him. See, I have one person in chat, but I could raid him. There's nothing stopping me. I think it'd be funny. Is he's still in his, like, startup, right? Yeah, there's like 5 minutes left. I might futz with the drawing for like 5 minutes stall for time, because I don't know. I think it'd be fun to do my first raid. No people in chat, the best way to do it. Yeah, okay. So maybe we'll like fix up her arm, I think. So for this, I'm actually going to take everything around them. To get all of it. Ooh, just barely. Nice. And so we copy this, and then we edit, and we cut. And then we paste, and now we have all of these, but they're detached from this one, so we still get to keep them. And then we can move this into like sort of the middle-ish, so that I have more room in all directions. And then we're gonna take him and her arm and move it to the side. Until it looks pretty much good. And then we tap out of that and check to make sure, and yes, that should work. I think I got it far enough. Yeah. Because I was trying too hard to push her arm behind her body, but I wasn't doing it properly, so it looked strange. So her arm looked way too short. It looked like it was up here when it should be more like if it were down, like down here-ish. I mean, even this is a bit short, I think, but that can be fixed by just lowering the elbow a little. And, you know, pushing it forward a bit more. So we do that sort of base understructure, and then we put the clothes on top. Image, mirror image horizontally. I should probably... Hold on, that doesn't work. Okay. It looks a little better, but it still feels a bit strange. I think I want to move her up slightly, which definitely makes her at the wrong height. Well, no, I can just move her back more. So I want to at least try and maintain their actual heights a little bit. Because she is significantly shorter than him, so I don't want to, like, make her look super tall just because I'm doing bust shots and I don't have to follow proportions properly. Because even if I don't have to, doesn't mean I don't wanna. So her elbow should be about here-ish, I think. Yeah, and that definitely feels a little less, like, pulled in. Yeah. That feels a little looser. We do need to push the elbow forward a little. The forearm is too long. We're like here. We want to try and even it out a bit. There we go. Okay. Yeah, and then most of the rest of this would just be like putting the sleeves on and then futzing with her face. Check in on here. I want to see if he started stream yet. Oh, 13 seconds, technically. Alright, I guess I have time to add that sleeve then. The real question is, does he have a requirement for raid amount? I don't think he does. I think I've seen someone raid him with like 1 viewer before, but well, we'll find out the hard way if I'm not able to raid him. Yeah, but just like I know I said I wanted to wait until I had like maybe 5 people in chat to start doing raids, but the button's right there. Like, you don't understand how right there it is. Like, if you open like if you press on Twitch mobile, you press the live button, it takes you into the dashboard, and then in Stream Manager, there's 4 purple buttons: edit stream info, share stream, add stream marker, and then a pink button that says raid channel, and they're massive and very easy to see. And I want to press the big red button. It's just so tempting. Ooh, I feel like her sweater would have like the elbow pads on it. I feel like she's an elbow pad girly. Yeah. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Cause she, she has like a workshop. I mean, she's a shop owner, but like she's got her like workshop going on. So she's definitely an elbow pad sweater kind of gal. Okay, and then I need to erase that because that line should not be there. Add a little more structure. Her tits are kind of looking circular, and that's not right. Boobs are shockingly not, in fact, like balloons full of air. They're closer to balloons full of water or gel. In structure and how. Yeah, I think gel is a little closer, honestly. Like if you want an inanimate object to compare how they interact with environments too, I'd say like a gel-filled balloon would be relatively accurate, I think. Not like I'm an expert. I mean, I plan to chop mine off, so I only know so much. Okay, so that is too thin. Be hanging down slightly, because while it is closer to the skin, it's not like a super tight sweater or anything. Okay. Alright, I think he's out of his like starting up stream thing. Okay, let's see if I can actually pull this off properly. Because I've never done a raid before. So it's you and me, everybody. We'll figure it out. Is stream even on, actually? Because hold on. Okay, there we go. Alright. Okay, it's big red button time. To anyone who's still sticking around, thank you for coming by. I appreciate you very much for joining my stream. You know, always fun to have y'all here. I really appreciate people coming in. So regardless of when it may be for you, I hope you have a wonderful morning, noon, or night. And thank you for coming by. Now, let's go raid someone. Alright. Let's see if I can do this right. Okay. Let's get going.